Hi, I'm Lise Colucci, and I'm one of the life coaches at queenbeing.com, where we help you to discover, understand, and overcome narcissistic abuse in toxic relationships. Hello, everybody. Christy and Shastina, hello, hello. Yes, hello. Okay, so let's just start with some information, and that is if you are needing help of any kind for narcissistic abuse recovery, head over to queenbeing.com. And check it out. There's all kinds of information there, as you probably know. And if you need coaching information, that is over there as well. If you would like text notifications of my live for these live streams, text me at 33222. Put the word Lise Live, Lise, Live, all one word, and hit send. And I will send you text notifications about 10 minutes prior. Okay, let's get started. So today I want to talk about limiting beliefs and what they are, how they start, what they're all about, and some ideas for how to work with them, how they affect life, all that good stuff. So, and how narcissistic abuse reinforces these limiting beliefs or creates them. All right. So, hello, Vicky and Angela and Karina and Shastina and Christy. Hello, hello. Okay, let's get going. So, if you want to know your own power and overcome toxic relationships in your life, hit subscribe. And let's continue on this healing journey together. Let's go. Okay, so limiting beliefs, what are they? We know what they are, right? They're those nagging beliefs about ourselves and our lives that are limiting our life, that are holding us back. Hello, DC guy. They're the I can'ts. They're the brakes and the stop of our life that keeps us from moving in any direction we want to move, that keeps us from changing. And they're the beliefs that hold us in place when we're trying to make change and trying to improve our lives and all that. So what's the reason these things exist? Like, why can't we just see, oh, I'm stopping myself, and then make it stop? Why are they so pervasively stuck in our brains that this is the way life is? Why do we believe it's who we are? I'm someone who can't, whatever it is. Sure, we have actual physical limitations. We do have limitations within our lives, of course, right? But they don't make up who we are. And there's workarounds for limitations that we don't see because we're so locked into the can'ts, right? Hi, Grace and DC Guy and Vicky, hello. So what do you guys think? And what are you noticing about your own life with your limiting beliefs? And I will start talking about how these things are set up in the first place, okay? So if something happens once and say you fail at it, it's not necessarily going to make you believe that it'll always happen, right? You think, oh, that was a bad experience, and you maybe try again, maybe don't, depending on how negative the impact was of that experience. But when you are a child in particular, or even as an adult, when you have pervasive abuse, pervasive emotional abuse, a continuous emotional abuse, repeating the same thing over and over again, it just becomes, number one, it becomes a neural pathway in your brain that loops over and over again. So you have the trigger or the stimuli of whatever something is, a thought, an idea, a doing of something. And then it instantly triggers a belief because that belief's been tied and anchored to a situation, right? So if every time somebody compliments me, I feel uncomfortable, because the compliments I received as a child were all artificial and always came with another shoe dropping. If they were a setup, a bait and switch type of situation, and they were impactful enough as a child, then I have learned, right? It's learned behavior, but it anchors back to an initial thing. So it can be a trigger that's outside of it. It can be hearing somebody else compliment someone else and you still feel it. It's all or you just don't believe in compliments at all. I don't believe that there is such thing as change because it's been proven that nothing can change over and over again to me, right? It's been proven because it's been anchored to some experience that has created enough of an impact in your life to bring you back, just like triggers bring it back, right? Is that making sense? And so how do you change that, right? How do you get out of that loop and create a whole new one that you want to live in? It's kind of the same pattern. So what happens when we have these anchors back to an initial impactful situation that created a belief, it's not just that one thing. So say you have a narcissistic parent, and that narcissistic parent is angry at you. You take the blame for everything. You're the scapegoat, okay? And so say there's like one particular time you can trace it back to. Usually people can have this one memory or a few memories, but one really big one that we're like, and it doesn't sound big sometimes. When you say it out loud, it just sounds kind of sad, like, well, that wasn't very nice. But to that person, that's that impactful moment, okay? So say whatever it is, say mom embarrassed you in the grocery store because you dropped something. I'm just going to make that up. Okay. And so now you are clumsy, you're wrong, you cost money, you're a burden, you're all these things. So all these beliefs start piling up. I'm not good enough. I can't function right. Something's wrong with me. You know, look what happens when whatever. Anytime I make a mistake, the whole world's looking at me and somebody else has to clean it up. So all these beliefs come in because it was super embarrassing and super impactful on you. And instead of it being handled later, like, wow, I really overreacted and discussed so that you could unloop your own beliefs to it, it kept going. Mom just, because she's a narcissist, right? Or she didn't, unaware, or there was some toxic parenting in there somewhere, or just a big mistake in parenting, right? It doesn't, but let's go with the, with the toxic, since that's what we're here for, right? So then what happens is maybe a month later, something reinforces that and mom does something similar. But then maybe you go to school and something happens and you accidentally do something, or even on purpose do something, and you're wrong. The thing is not right. And a teacher handles it the same way mom handled it, where they publicly embarrass you. And so you're still learning that anytime I make a mistake, there's shame. And there's the second impactful situation. And then a third one comes maybe in high school when all your friends are doing something and you do something clumsy and you spill on someone and they say, God, what an idiot. Look at you. You're always clumsy, blah, blah, blah. And everyone, ha, 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 and makes fun of you. And, you know, and it's not that one incident is the worst thing in the world. It's kind of, you know, bad, but it's not like each one has to be toxic. It's just that it's repeating patterns. And what happens is our brains quickly go to that initial pain because it was so impactful and link it like a chain all the way through our lives, so we're basically chained to these beliefs all the way through our life. Okay. And how do you break that chain? The only way to break that chain is to create a new belief, to understand that you're chained to something that isn't real. Number one. Okay. You're chained to something that was handled improperly. Everyone in this world, say you dropped a jar on the ground, that's what created this whole thing, right? Everyone in the world pretty much has dropped something in their life. It is nothing to be shameful for. It is nothing. When you look at the situation isolated and you see what it is that created that, it's the other person's handling of the situation towards you that usually created these beliefs. And when you see that, you realize the belief itself is not real. The belief is somebody else's programming put into you. And so awareness, that's the discovery, right? And the understanding part. And so to overcome it, we have to create whole new patterns. And the one way to do it is to recreate that process in a positive way, something very, very positive and impactful. And then actively finding examples in your life. It will not feel like you're doing anything. Okay. Actively finding examples in your life to prove that positive thing over and over and over again. I am helping people. And then, you know, okay, whatever. It's fine. It's great. But then in your life, you know, I'm not so useless. Look, I actually help someone. You know, not that it has to be about other people either. Oh, look, I helped this situation. Oh, look, I make life better in this way. Oh, my life feels better because of this. And you see it's about, you know, integrating it to all parts of your life, linking it back to that positive source in your head actively, as if you are an external person telling yourself this the way external people have told you the negative. So we have to do it for ourselves and flip it. Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm making any sense because I'm talking off the cuff here. Okay. Let's read what you guys have said. Yes. Sometimes Karina's saying, sometimes I feel like what I do isn't enough. Overthinking, says Angela. Shastina saying, believing what I try won't come out successful, between not being able to make decisions and fear of changing. I'm frozen. Yes. Vicky is saying limiting beliefs, Okay, remember I told you about my ex-narcissist was sick and I didn't want to go to the hospital? Well, I caved and went. My brother said I wasn't a good Christian if I didn't go. Okay, so that created because you see, it's the external reminders of something that just that one time, if he said that to me, I'd say, well, then I'm not, because that's not my trigger, right? Because it's your trigger, it linked it all the way back like a chain, all the way back to some original thing that made you believe you're not good if you don't for others, right? So, and here you've proven the opposite. I worked in hospice for years, and I know I would have gone, but I was shamed into doing it. Why was I shamed into doing it? Can you see why, after what I just explained, that you were shamed into doing it? Because it wasn't this one thing, and it doesn't have to do with logic. You almost have to go, we have to catch it when we're doing it. Sometimes we just do it and it happens and there we are. And other times we can catch it. We can't always catch it. But every time you catch it and you turn it around, you're recreating new neural pathways that teach you something different about yourself. But like I said, linking it back to, so looking at your situation, Vicki, if you were able to catch it, or even now, realizing that is a false belief that's being planted in you by someone else, that is linking it back to some other beliefs. And I don't know what they are because I don't know you, right? But you can probably trace it back to other beliefs about how you're not doing the right thing. What your choices and your actions based on what you believe you should do aren't right. You should do what other people tell you to do, and then you'll be right. That you are only perfect and good if you follow these particular rules that are set by other people that aren't based on anything except someone else's belief. Okay? People don't have the big picture when they tell you something like that. They don't. Because who are you supposed to protect? The person who has wronged you, or yourself, who is someone that has not wronged someone, right? And which one's the better one to protect or to give to, you know? And so really that is a question of what does that actually mean? And that's a whole moral and ethical discussion you can have with yourself, but it's not for him to say, right? It's not for your brother to say, it's for you to decide within yourself. But because he said it and the way he said it and the way he knows how to trigger you by it, probably unintentionally, it linked it back. So to create a new belief, we have to create these links for ourselves, and surround ourselves with positive people who say, yes, that is Vicki, you can do what you need to do for yourself. And it's not because you'll believe me, it's because what I'm saying is just reinforcing a belief that, and believe me, if it was something that was like, you know what, you might want to consider that, I'd say it. So it's like choosing who you trust, choosing people you can trust, and using that as the external source, but having a stronger internal source to be that thing that catches these beliefs and changes them around so that we create change. And looking in your life for the fact that you worked hospice, which means you are a giving person, which means morally, in whatever terms you want to look at it, that is contradictory to you not being a good anything, religious wise. It's contradictory. So it proves the opposite of what he's saying, right? And it proves that you are able to give and you enjoy that and whatever. So we're looking for proofs of the positive, proofs of the way we want to live our life versus links backward to the beliefs that we have. Am I making sense here? Because it's okay. So I'm going on and everyone's quiet. My quiet friends today. My inner voice always tells me I don't do enough. Limiting belief of my inner critic. Says Grace, and Sweet Pink says traditions are just peer pressure from people who aren't here anymore. This is true. This is true. Okay, it's making sense to you. Okay, good DC guy. This week's mantra to counter my inner critic: I'm thriving in my life. Yes, Grace, you are. You are, because there's area you can prove that. Right? You can prove it, Grace, because there are areas, and this is what I mean. Okay, so Grace has a limiting belief she wants to change. Her new belief, and let's do this. We'll talk about it from this. Okay, so we know what the beliefs are, right? You guys are pointing them all out. They're beliefs that we have about ourselves that are holding us back, that are making us feel stuck. They're the I can'ts, I don't know how's, I should have's, the shame, all of that, that is unfounded logically, but we still can't shake the feeling of it. So, how do these beliefs serve your life? The way you want your life to go? That's the question. Number one, does believing that I am beneath other people serve my life? Is that benefiting me at all? Probably not. Okay. Maybe for some people, because then they can, use people. I don't know. Maybe for some people that might benefit them, but for someone who wishes to have a life full of self-esteem and self-worth, that would not be a benefit, right? So how does it serve your life? What even is your aim in life? Where do you want to go? What beliefs do you have? If your belief is, I'm not a good person, what do you want to believe instead? Write it down. Make one word out of it or 2 words. What do you want to believe? And then find a way that leads there instead of leading back. Don't follow the chain backwards into the ground, down the hole of these limiting beliefs. See that it's a chain in your life. It's just literally chaining you back to some anchored belief in you. And what you want to do is unhook that, hook to a more positive belief and head forward, right? So what do you want instead? What do you want? What do you want to believe? I don't know what you want to believe. You get to choose. That's the beauty of it. And then see the truth of these limiting beliefs. See them, that they are not what I want. They aren't serving my life. And they actually aren't even true. There's somebody else's patterning put in me. There's somebody else's opinion, bias, their viewpoint. For what aim? So that they can dump on you, so that they can project onto you, so that they don't have to live their own life. It's somebody managing you instead of you managing your own life based on your own beliefs about yourself, right? And then there's the fine line, right, of offering someone what you see. Hey, I see you're doing this. That might not, totally different than someone saying you are this if you don't do that, right? You know the difference between somebody offering what they are noticing that might be not beneficial for you, usually unsolicited, but sometimes it's good to hear. Sometimes we got to hear it. It's the truth we got to hear. And other times it's just somebody telling you what to do in a very limiting and harsh way that is linking back to a belief you already have about yourself and making you feel run down. Somebody telling you something to effectively help you make change in your life. Like, hey, I noticed that I notice you're always down on yourself, and that, does that help? Well, how can you change that? Or maybe if you tried this, it would help. People do all kinds of stuff that are kind and nice like that isn't linking you to a negative belief. Instead, it should help you feel like, oh, well, what's the other option? How do I do that? Like it should make you question and move forward. Anything that's pulling you into a negative belief, there's something going on, whether it's just a trigger or whether it's somebody, it doesn't matter why. It's just, that's when you notice the belief, right? Notice the belief, change the belief. What is it I want to believe instead right now? I want to believe I'm fully functioning and able to do this. Like I am speaking and making sense, right? I believe this. Okay. That's what I mean. Like you got, and you can prove it by, oh, okay, DC guy just said it makes sense. Okay, cool, I'll move on. Yes, that's external validation, but I asked for it, I got it. There we go. Answered. I know because I'm able to follow my own train of thought through this. I know because I have seen and edited other videos of mine and they make sense. So I know, so I'm patterning it back and linking the positives, right? It's not a one-time thing. It's over and over and over and over. These negative beliefs, limiting beliefs have been drilled in your head over and over and over, like in all areas of your life, not just one. So it's not going to be one trigger or one remembrance or one event that makes us have these beliefs rise up. So we have to infiltrate the rest of our life with the more positive and freer belief about ourselves. So changing the belief by trying on a new one. Try it on for a while. Try it on for a while. Every time I think, God, I'm stupid, think, I wonder what I have to learn here today. It doesn't have to be, I'm so smart. It doesn't have to be something unbelievable to our very logical and very intelligent minds, right? It can be something that is simply not limiting. And then it can build to something like, whoa, I actually have a pretty good mind. I'm pretty sharp, and it doesn't have to, and that's okay, but it can lead itself there. But try something new, try it on and actually try it. It's a lot of internal stopping yourself and thinking and redoing in the moment, catching it, failing, restarting. It's a lot of that because it's baby steps and it's learning. It's just learning. It isn't a thing you go, oh, okay, I did it once. Now it works. Now I can take that belief, throw it out, move on to the next one. It's one thing after another. But the thing is, when you start doing it as a pattern, it escalates and it snowballs and it gets faster and more beliefs shrink. And some beliefs you don't even have to work with because your brain automatically knows how to jump track to something positive. So what you're creating is a new neural pathway in your own brain for how to cope with these negative beliefs so that when they pop up, boom, you handle it without much thought. And it actually works. So it's not going to work for all of them. There are core beliefs that are totally different and very hard to permeate. And for those, we create perspective around them and space and nurturing and understanding and love and all kindness and all of that. So, but I'm talking about all these little tiny threads of negativity toward ourselves that hold us back. Okay, let's read what you guys are saying. Oh, and one last thing on that is when you try on the new belief, take on some new action that goes along with that belief. Fail. Who cares? Right? Try it, fail, try again, fail, learn from it, try again. Take on a new attitude of that this is an adventure in expanding your own life so that you can evolve versus something really hard that you have to buckle down and do. All right. Because if you have an attitude, if you're on an adventure and you have the attitude of what's that? Oh my gosh, what's that? How does that look? It's much better than around every corner is something scary, or I have to trudge over all these rocks all day long. Which yes, those rocks may be there. And yes, there may be something scary, but on this journey, it's about the expansion of perspective and the moving forward, right? Not about focusing on the negative because we already know how to do that. We're pros at it. So, because we've been trained to. So, you see what I'm saying? Okay. Okay, here we go. My abusive stepdad persuaded me to look after him. Wait, I'm looking for what my mother used to say to me that the reason I was sick was because I was not going to church. Yeah, you see, the beliefs start somewhere, right? All right. Jack says the other positives. I'm trying to skim here. There's lots to read from. And it just jumped. Where is it? Okay. All right. I'm just going to start here. I think. Hi, Anastasia. Okay. I think believing you're not good enough helps folks who feel compelled to keep striving. What do you mean? I've lived with this not good enough perfectionism feeling for as long as I can remember. It actually motivated me. Oh, it motivated me to go really far before I got sick. Okay. I know what you're saying there. Some people say, oh yeah, I'll prove you wrong. Oh yeah? You think that about me? I'll prove you wrong. Or I'm not good enough. I got to put my nose to the grindstone and do more. So it can be the motivating factor, which creates a different kind of limiting belief, doesn't it? That everything has to be hard. So where's the underlying belief there? If the belief is, I'm not good enough and I'm a perfect, I have to be perfect or else, and that motivates you, what's underneath that belief? There's another one. There's a belief of something. So what if you weren't? So what if you're not good enough? Then what? And when you get to that underlying belief, like I said, it could be anything. It could be something like life is hard. Life has to be hard. Like where's the next level of belief? Whether it be the next step in the belief or the one behind or under it, whatever you want to call it. What else is tied in with that? Because that may be where the limit is, right? And because if it's not limiting you and it's pushing you forward, but it's not healthy for you, then like the type A drive, right? Someone may be really driven and that's really great, but then the inability to stop because they believe if they stop, life will fall apart is where the limiting belief is. So they have to learn to relax and let go and let other people take charge. What will happen? So that's a different approach to limiting beliefs. And I like that you brought it up. But you can see where there's like more to it than just the not good enough and perfectionist. There's something else, or even many other things that tie into that. And then can you find another thing to drive you? Because what you're talking about is that you have a high drive. Can you find another motivator that isn't one that brings you down? That's one that drives you forward in a positive way. Can you find a way to be positively reinforcing yourself versus the negatively with, I'm going to prove you wrong, or I better just be perfect or else, right? Okay. I'm going to put my skinny pants on and believe I'm small again. You know what? You can wear any pants you want and you can believe you're beautiful. How's that? It's not, some things, like I said, some things are limiting by design, and there's not much we can do with that except the attitude around it. Okay. I think the hardest part about these self-limiting beliefs is their insidious nature. Exactly. For many of us, it's hard to even recognize that we have them. Indeed, it is. And so it's anything pulling you under, anything that makes you feel stuck. And it's examining the moment when it happens. And when you feel stuck, like, what's going on? Where have I been? What did I do? Sometimes it's talking to people. This is an area that, like, talking to a coach or a therapist can help, because from sitting where we sit, talking to you, we see the patterns and can offer you questions to help you open up your own awareness toward your experience that you're having of yourself when you don't know what it is, but there's something. Sometimes just the way a person talks can, at least for me, can help me ask them questions that they can question themselves with in order to open that door for them to change their beliefs, right? Or see what it is they even want for their life. All right. I think, DC guy, I think I know the answer, but why do other people want to control what we feel? Because they likely don't have any control of themselves, because it's a lot easier to manage what's on the outside than it is to manage what's on the inside when you're basing your life on ego and fear, right? It's not easier, but it appears easier because people think if they manage the outside, they can control their own inside. They can soothe, or they don't have to control it, because it's like creating control on the outside gives a person the sense of power and order and what they need on the inside, but it's totally it's totally toxic, and it's dysfunction, because you're not allowing another person to be free to have their own life and their own beliefs. We can see that. That's obvious. But someone needs to control you because they need the feeling of power. A narcissist needs to control because their whole world is about delusion. The delusional world that they create with all the masks they wear of who they want you to think they are. So I was told that the way you make I was told this by a narcissist, that the way you make change in your life is decide what it is you want and then pretend to be that thing. Totally valid on some levels, but when you look at it from the narcissistic viewpoint, they're saying that nothing else is real. That whatever, I'm going to pretend to be that thing, and you will pretend to be that thing, and they will pretend to be that thing, and everything around us we will pretend is that way. And therefore it is. And therefore my kingdom, which is my ego, is all there is. So if you step out of line by disagreeing, or by having your own opinions, or by seeing me like really for who I am, the narcissist, right? Them, not me. Then you distort the delusion, and they can't handle it, and they have to control. Right? So it's a fearful slapping back on of everybody's. They want everyone in character and in play around them like pawns, right? Otherwise, what? They might have to face reality. So, okay. Excuse me. Excuse me. What's that? Yes, being inquisitive, like we used to do as a baby. Yes. Life is an adventure. Yes, Jana. Angela says, I have started abstract painting to overcome perfectionism. Ooh, love it. There's no right or wrong in abstract. It's helped a lot with my self-expectations. I love it. I love it. And yeah, there's all kinds of ways to work with this, aren't there? There's creative outlets like painting or drawing or anything expressive. Being expressive is huge. Okay, the way I'm working with perfectionism is dance. I don't dance very well. But I go several times a week in a mirror and try not to judge, try not to compare, and allow the movement that's there. And what I'm finding is there's this expression of movement that expresses things that are not of my ego, but are of my joy and of my awareness and intuition. And it changes everything from it being perfect to it being expressive. And then who cares if it's perfect? It's not going to be. I'm not, that's okay. None of us are. Even the most perfect person in class isn't perfect, and they've got something going on in their head, right? So anyway, all kinds of ways to either go with it and challenge it, or do as Angela's saying and find something totally different so that you have the experience of things being imperfect on purpose, right? And that's the way it's meant to be, and letting go and just allowing. All right. Okay. Limiting religious beliefs are hard to deal with. Yes, because you not only have with religious beliefs, creating limiting beliefs. You not only have a person telling you, you have an entire community and history throughout that particular religion telling you it. So it's reinforced in multiple ways. But it still applies what I was saying earlier, that the reinforcement of an initial belief is where the solidification of that belief continues through your life. It's the link, it's chained back, right? So we create something new through the way we wished to be in our life, and then find ways to prove it. You can't always go after the specifics like you're talking about their fashion family, but sometimes it's finding, sorry, I'm clapping at my dog who is making noise right in the, so yeah, okay. Okay. Hi, Robin. Oh, where did it go? Okay. All right. Grace is saying, yeah, I've wished I was a prove it wrong type of girl in a way. I have too, but you know what? I see the limits there too when I talk to people who are, because then they thrive off the limiting belief, and it's really hard to then dig under and find ways to relax that belief because they want to. You don't have to let go of a belief if you don't want to. I'm talking about the ones that are limiting us and holding us back, right? Okay. Hi, James. Why are you no longer? Oh, because you're not here. You're under a different account. Okay. Doesn't it seem like a lot of famous, successful people were told they were crazy and their ideas would fail, as in the Wright brothers? It does. It does. A lot of nonconformist people tend to succeed because they think outside the box. It's a mindset. So here's another strategy. Re-strategize. Look at people whose lives have been changed, or who never had to change their life, but think differently than the way everyone else thinks, from the way they've been taught to, we are taught to think. Or it could just be a way a person has improved their life through changing the way they think. And what do they do? What are their actions? How do they work with the limits of their own life? And what do they do anyway? A lot of it's in action that you can see in other people, and re-strategize the way you do things. Remember that we all have personality types as well, right? So we're all going to handle these limiting beliefs differently based on our psyches, right? We're going to, based on the way our personalities are, based on the way our conditioning is, on all kinds of factors. But just breaking it down to like looking at even like the MBT, the Myers-Briggs type indicator personality types, you can see that different types are going to handle the way they receive and process and function with these limiting beliefs. So understanding the way you work can sometimes help, because say one person falls into the category where they are more apt to believe their emotions. fully believe their emotions as if that's all that exists, like completely can't see outside of emotion when they're in it. The more FP types, it can be really difficult to not get really depressed or really pulled under because they fully believe it. Whereas the J and the TJ in particular, but even FJs can tend to get trapped up in their head with believing it in their minds. Logically, I can logically see where that is true. Therefore, you can't change my mind. And so sometimes it's finding a different approach. If I'm doing that, if I'm up in my J of my head and I'm thinking, well, I can totally see where this is true. I can see why I do the thing I do and why it's wrong and why I am therefore that thing that I've been told I am. And so it's hard to disprove that, right? It's hard to find a way out. Like, where am I going? Sometimes I have to go into feeling more and letting go of the thoughts about it. Or sometimes I have to get in my body more and get out of the thought feeling place and think, I don't really want to feel icky in my body. I want to feel calm and relaxed. So I should probably go take a walk. I should probably let this anxiety out somehow through my body. And when I'm doing that, then the thoughts change. Does that make sense? I'm changing the strategy and taking a different action toward an aim that is seems unrelated, but it's totally with me all the time. So understanding how your own personality type works can be fascinating for changing beliefs. Everyone's different. When I work with people in groups, in particular, of coaching groups, and I have them, 5 different personality, or usually it's 3 different personality types in the room, the virtual room. And if we're talking about limiting beliefs, each type will have a way of handling the way they believe something. And so the way I'm speaking to them might be different than the way I speak to someone else, but you benefit from hearing other ways because then you can strategize. Oh, wait a minute. This doesn't work for me. I wonder if I tried it their way, what would happen? And sometimes that's the magic ticket because you get out of your own way. Does that make sense? It's like not falling into the pattern of yourself and just trying something different once in a while. All right. Okay. When I find myself thinking, it helps me ask myself how that thinking would work out for you. Exactly. That's what I meant by like, how does this serve your life? How's this helping me? Or is that what you're saying? Underlying belief of perfection feeling, core wounds, super conditional love. My perfectionism got checked hard by chronic illness, forced me to let go. Interesting. Art and dance for negating perfectionism. That's right. Anything expressive, right? Because expression is not about perfection. Expressive is about humanity. It's about authenticity. It's about, it is what it is. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It doesn't matter how perfect and beautiful and whatever, judgment. There's no judgment on expression. Expression, when you see someone truly expressing themselves in an artistic way, the judging mind goes, oh, that's not my style. But the heart understands the expression, right? And so sometimes we got to feel ourselves with that place instead of up here and let the judge just kind of shh, stop. Okay. My ex told me the same thing. He told me I needed to pretend I was happy and do the things I didn't enjoy and to pretend to like it to get out of the relationship what I wanted. Yep. You're only going to get what you want from me, says the narcissist. If you do as I say it, when I say it, and how I say it, and then you'll get it. But only sometimes, because it's never right. Yeah. So glad you're not there, because you deserve so much more, right? So much better alone. All right. Chronic illness is making me let go too. It is hard to accept and change. Hugs. It is. None of it's easy. Again, I'm going to say none of this stuff's easy. It's not about being easy. It's about doing it anyway, right? Little things to do it anyway. Attitudes and because what kind of life do you want to live? Even if it's one that isn't ideal. Do you want that non-ideal life to feel more positive, or do you want it to continue to spin toward the negative? And I know this is easier said than done. And believe me, I'm not Pollyanna. Okay. I'm pretty dark sometimes. And it's the only way I personally can see to effectively change how you experience the life that you are living, regardless of whether you want to improve that life or change that life. Does that make sense? So yes, it's hard. And also there's a different aim. The aim isn't perfection. The aim is right now. And what's happening right now, can it be elevated at all? All right. It's weird in here in your head, isn't it? It's like echoing and just keeps repeating itself. Okay. Jumped. Okay, what are we saying here? Hi, Anna Marie. Not good enough, always wrong. Those were my limiting beliefs. I had to be perfect or I would short circuit and do nothing. Can be completely crippling, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Any questions I missed? Please repeat them, or anything that someone wants me to say out loud that I missed. Just give me a sum up or repeat it, because I'm having trouble with the scrolling as per usual. It's not my strong suit. Just ask you guys to help me out. All right. What else do you guys want to talk about with these limiting beliefs before we have to go in about 5 to 10 minutes? Anything at all? Or are there any questions or issues you have going on in your life right now that you want some help with, or any topics you want me to cover and talk about tomorrow, or not tomorrow, Thursday or Friday this week? Let me know. For fighting, how did... Okay. I don't know her, Gretchen Rubin. Okay. All right. I'm not seeing anything that you guys are needing or are continuing with here. Jana says, people are quick to tell people when they are wrong, but it seems like few and far between people go out of their way to tell people when they did something well. This is true. We're a pretty negative society. We're pretty much, we thrive on other people's imperfections. Not we, but as a society often. And that's not great, right? We have to do this for ourselves, inside ourselves, because we can't rely on other people to be there to do it. Because you're right. That does seem, people want to be bossy and controlling and telling other people how to run their lives. I think it's a way to block out doing your own work on yourself for a lot of people. I don't know. Okay. All right. Mine started the raging out of the blue. What triggers them? Oh, who knows, Fashion Family? Could be anything that triggers the raging, really. This is the thing, is they cycle. Sometimes I thought I could find a pattern, and I never did. I could find certain triggers, and so therefore I knew how to manage down certain things, which made my life all about managing someone else's, which puts me right in the realm of having to control people, which I hate, right? So sometimes they just do it. Sometimes it's just, I swear, a switch flips and they have had enough of being nice and now they can't wear the mask anymore, and out comes the raging temper tantrums. Sometimes sometimes it's something you're doing in the sense that they're not getting enough supply. And so then that stirs the pot and makes you all shook up and gives them supply. Could be anything. Ideally we just get away from it, right? I take the skinny pants comment. I have a limiting belief that I am not as good a dating partner because I've discarded everyone in my life since they were toxic. That actually makes you a better one, honestly, in my mind, because then you are discerning and not wasting your time and not wasting another person's time when it's not going to work, right? And it means you know what you want and you have high standards for yourself. And those standards are, while maybe rigid right now, could be softened with understanding that not everyone's toxic and that there are situations, but that's trial and error. So we all have that window of that little wiggle room of imperfection in there, which is good. But to me, I don't know. So how can you reframe it for yourself? I don't know if that helped. That was a little reframing, and why, but okay. It's hard to imagine I have things to offer since I don't have friendships, money, or great passions. I know this isn't true, but mostly it still comes up. So maybe, Grace, it's you seeking yourself for a little while and seeing what it is about you that's wonderful. Right? Maybe you need to date yourself for a little while, a couple weeks, a month, I don't know how long. Maybe it's dating yourself in the sense of noticing and appreciating what it is about you in particular that makes you unique and beautiful in some way. It's been 2 years. It's okay. Maybe you haven't actually dated yourself. Maybe you haven't actually looked. I don't know. I don't know you. Maybe you have and it's not working. And so there's another approach. Maybe it does mean you value yourself. And if you're feeling like it's limiting you though, so what are your, maybe I need to make a list of good qualities. There you go. 3 things you love about yourself every night, all week on paper, beside your bed that you read in the morning and remind yourself of. How's that? There's an exercise for you. Hey, Iraq and Allie. Okay. Reminding myself, Daniel, hello, reminding myself what a great man and person I am, and that just because one parasite didn't get that doesn't change the man that I am. This is right. We have to pep talk ourselves in the sense of reminding ourselves of the truth of who we are. So again, to Grace, that's a good little piece there, because it's seeing the qualities that you have, like you said, and a list. I like the idea of a list. And I like the idea of doing it every day for a week so that you continue to train yourself to look for those things in yourself, even if it's the same thing every night, doesn't matter. All right. Okay. Anything else about limiting beliefs or anything you want to talk about tomorrow, Thursday or Friday at all? Either put it in the comments here real quick in the chat or stick it in the main comments of any video, because I will read it and write them down and go through them as I can. Like this one was somebody brought up. So depression, you want to talk about depression? Inertia. Okay. The problem is, Butterfly Mama is saying we pay attention to what others believe in us or about us more than we value ourselves. Bingo. Right? Because it's like, okay, here's another thing. When someone's saying it to you, it's coming from the outside in. It's externally said. It has sound and volume and impact from the voice that it is, from the action that's going. We don't create that in our own lives to believe about ourselves. We just keep it in our brains. Go out and experience the good things about yourself. If you think I'm really good at growing a garden, or then grow a garden, even if it's one plant. And if it dies, grow another one. You know what I mean? Like, get in there and actually take action to create the beliefs that you want to have happen in your life. Tiny things. The same way that somebody can come in and impact your life in a negative way. Because they don't do it silently. They don't just stand there and go, and you go, oh my gosh, I'm a horrible person. Say something. So say something, right? They make an action towards you that proves that thing. They point out things that prove that thing, right? So do that to yourself. Do it out loud. Talk into a recorder and let it play back to yourself. Reflect back to yourself. Look in the mirror and tell yourself, you know what? This is what I want to believe. Yeah, silly, but it's actually hearing it expressed out loud has a whole nother thing that it does to your brain, right? Especially hearing it reflected back to you. So if you can say it into a recorder, play it back, don't judge. Just do it without the video. You don't have to look at it. Don't judge, just do it and see how that impacts you as you work with beliefs. Excellent. I'm glad you love having your home back, Allie. Let's see. I have high standards for my life and I thrive off positive experiences and relationships. Yes, you do, even if it's the one with yourself. All right. Start with that. Hello, Mo Cowboy. Grow a garden. Yay. Uh-huh. Okay. I feel like I'm limiting myself, says E-Rock Freedom. There's stuff I want to do, I could envision, but I don't believe I can, or I meant for happiness. Okay, go back and watch the beginning of this, E-Rock. I know you came in late, and see if that helps you, and add any questions to the comment section, and I will try to answer or talk with you there as well, because there was a lot of talk about just that in the beginning, and why these patterns are set up and how to recreate new ones for yourself. So as you watch that, if it inspires you, leave some comments and I will talk to you there. Isolation makes it so much harder for me to believe positive things about myself. Trying to recite prefab affirmations anyway, trusting that the neural pathways are being formed despite skepticism. And that's perfect to do. Anastasia, here's an exercise you can try, and that is to take a limiting belief, look at it. I'm not enough. Write it down, cross it out, and write what you want to believe instead. It makes it external. So because you don't have anyone to reflect and mirror for you that's positive, when you feel isolated, do it for yourself on paper, but make it real and about you. So the prefab ones are awesome, but then create some of your own. And they don't have to be supercharged. You are the most wonderful person. They don't have to be like, hey, they can just be real for you, but something you really want. I'm not good enough can be, I'm perfectly fine. Totally chill, right? It doesn't have to be, I'm the best. It can be, you can be whatever it wants to be. You can do whatever feels right, whatever feels natural and real, and increase it. Maybe look at that belief in a couple of weeks and be like, you know what? That's not enough. I feel like I want this, but literally write them down, cross it off, keep it 1 to 3 words short so that it repeats and repeats and repeats as a belief that's bam, right in there, instead of a long thing that you have to remember. And when you catch yourself saying the negative belief, I'm not enough, I'm not enough, I'm not good enough. Bam, you have to remember what it was you said, come back to that paper, scribble it out in your head, and visualize it if you can visualize the scribbling, and put the new word in there. So actively reprogram your own thoughts based on your own wishes. Prefab, awesome. Keep going and try that. I don't know. Try it out. Let me know if you do it. And remember that patterns take months. Okay. It's not quick. This is slow. It's building muscle and it's building neural pathways. It's just like you can't expect to go to the gym and have results in a week. You'll feel sore. You'll feel like giving up and you'll feel like it's useless. But if you keep going, you will have results, right? Proven. It's how the body works. The mind works similarly. We have neuroplasticity and we have the ability to create new neural pathways. So use it, but don't expect it to be tomorrow. Just like you're saying, skepticism aside, keep going and try personalizing. All right. All right. I find it so hard to see goodness in myself when there's no positive reflection. Right. That's what I'm saying. Create the positive reflection. Create it. I spent a lot of time by myself for this specific purpose, to create it for myself. I look for things in nature and I notice the fact that I'm able to appreciate plenty. That's plenty. Some people can't. They can't appreciate what's right in front of them. That's a huge positive about myself, right? That even when things are crappy, I can appreciate something, right? Or even if my thoughts are negative, I can appreciate something else at the same time. That's a huge trait. And I can reflect that back to myself by being alone. Now, if someone else was there, I'd be distracted by them. Does that make sense? So if you used your alone time a little differently, sometimes, and I don't know your personality type, so I don't know how that plays in, but that works for me as an INFJ/P with the 50-50 there. It works great. So, all right. What are you saying here, Mo Cowboy? Yep. Too much, too quick, and your mind gets sore. Yes, it does. Just like too much exercise and the muscles get sore. Slow down and enjoy the journey. That's right. Understand it is a journey and it is not going to be tomorrow. Sometimes you have wide open awarenesses, crack open, and you feel great for a little while, but that's not changing the neural pathways. That's like, aha. right? And we get those too. So enjoy those when they happen, and don't think everything has to be that way. So a lot of us is really slow. And life doesn't change all at once. So like maybe you start changing your thoughts and you go, but why is my life not better? Because that has a whole nother life of itself, the external part. The change that happens on the inside starts to ripple outward, but it's not like all at once, and it's rarely at the same time. You don't just like, I feel great. Look, all this money. Look, all my friends all at once. Imagine how overwhelmed you'd be. But it's rippled and affects, and it ebbs and flows. And that's just how it is for all of us. It's slow, and it's kind of just keep moving toward the way you want to live. Right. All right. And that's what I want. Such an addict. We all want that. Are you kidding? We're impatient and we want it now. Self-help gurus make it seem the changes would be fast, don't they? Yes. I'm here to say, as a non-guru, no. The thing is, fast is relative. Okay. If you look at an entire life spent being negative, and you think, okay, I'm however old you are, I'm 49, all right, I can live the next 20 years feeling negative. Or I can just start working on the positive. And when I look back in 5 years, I can think, my gosh, that went fast, because the first 49 years were negative. So really, in a sense, 5 years is pretty dang fast compared to the 49 I already lived in the negative, and the however many more in the future I would have lived if I'd stayed negative. So in a sense, that's fast. But fast, like you're talking about, like change your thoughts, change your life. Oh, yeah. Some people maybe have that happen. And you do get flashes of that. You do start to, when something good happens, you realize, oh, I've been putting in the effort for this. That's what, this is the change. This is it. And it's usually just one little piece at a time. That's my experience and what I've seen, but you're right. I believed change would come fast if I were doing it right. That's because of the perfectionism mentality, right? The nose to the grindstone and all the gold and riches fall at your feet. That's the fairy tale in my mind. And because it doesn't happen fast, hi Martha, because it doesn't happen fast doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. That's the other thing. If you're not feeling any change over, I don't know, a couple months of doing something, and even if you're not feeling change as fast as you want, try different things, but still stick to something. Stick to something that is, these things just start to build, and they start having effect on you. Okay. Working, whatever that means, we don't know the outcome. We only know we're aiming for something higher than what we're living now, right? Raising the vibration and raising the quality of our emotional experiences, the way we relate to our emotions, right? Okay. We have to consciously take control of those bad negative beliefs and change them to positive ones. It takes patience and time, says Butterfly Mama. It does. I notice my self-care goes down the drain, possibly as a way to keep myself down so that I can't be hurt. You're right. You see, it all ties together from what you're saying there. Okay. I know that I'm being hurt. I know that I'm hurt, being hurt, and just stay down. Right. Because it's like you get defeated, right? It's a defeated feeling of, I might as well just lay here and take it, because it's a checking out instead of a checking into your life and moving on and moving forward. I changed. Where am I? I lost. Okay. Thanks for the exercise. You're welcome. It's much more doable for me where I feel like, especially when we have the opportunity for the isolation, and I say opportunity because not a lot of people get the opportunity to have time alone, especially if you're an introvert. And if you're an INFP or an INFJ, oh yeah, it's the depth of the way our minds and intuition and feelings all work together. The alone gives us the chance to experience things differently. And you have a choice then to do it positively or dwell, right? It is a choice. It's not an easy thing. It's not. And it's not always possible. Some days you got to curl up and have those beliefs and just let them be there. Some days you do. You can't just, white knuckle it all the time. Okay. All right. Robin says, I think the ebb and flow of process is what is the hardest thing. I feel great and then slide back and then beat myself up about it. Eventually I get back up again. The process of brain retraining is tough. It sure is. It is an INSJ. Okay. I don't think I know any INSJs, Justina. I'm going to read about that one. I don't know any. Yay. Okay. Oh, TJ. It's not an S. It's either an IST or an IN. It's either N or S and T or F. So you're either an INF or INFP. Okay. So yeah. So it's either an F there or a T there instead of the S. And then the S would either be in the N or the S. Does that make sense? Did I say that right? eRock Freedom, go to 16personalities.com and take the test for fun. Then you get to learn about yourself. At least one idea about what could be personality. Okay. And they tend to be fairly accurate from what I can tell in the way people act and the way F. Okay. Oh, INFJ. Oh yeah. Then that makes sense, Justina. Yeah. That's what, because that's where your logic and your feelings will blend together and keep you thinking about how you feel instead of feeling it, right? All right. I missed something. I was talking to Robin about something. What was I talking about? Oh, about it not being easy in the backslides. So backslides aren't backslides in one sense. They can be, of course, but think of it this way. Maybe this will help. They are another layer of something that needs to be examined. They're just another unlayering of a piece that needs to be looked at. It's all they are. You're not backsliding to where you started because you've built something. All right. Your cup was empty. It is now pretty full. The thing is, sometimes you pour it into a bigger cup. And oh, come all the way down here again. You got to keep pouring into it. But that bigger cup is an expansion of yourself. And it's an expansion of your perspectives and your awareness and your understanding of self and your belief of the world around you and your ability to connect with your own empathy. And there's a lot going into it. Sometimes we make these leaps and then we have these backslides. The leap takes you into the bigger cup. Okay. It pours everything you just built into this bigger cup. And then you're in this big cup, but it's only this full because you've got all this new expansion and awareness to then work through these layers. Does that make sense? It's like you're seeing it from a different angle and you're seeing it from a deeper place inside yourself. And so in that sense, it's actually a good thing. It doesn't feel good in the moment and it can feel tough, but it's just sort of like, it does get better too. It's not always these drastic ups and downs. It does get where the downs are only a couple days, or they're only moments, or they're part of your day, or maybe they happen at 11 p.m. every night when you're trying to get to sleep. And then you catch it and you go, okay, this is just another level I got to work through. All right. Yeah. So, okay. Hi, Violet. Could anyone please tell me when this starts? Well, here's the thing, Violet. I do not have a regular time schedule because of the way my schedule works right now. So I try to come on Monday and I did not come yesterday. I apologize. I had one of those days. I don't know about any of you, but was yesterday like this crazy day of paradox where one thing's breaking and something else is blooming at the same time? It was the perfect equinox experience of dark and light in my day. It was hilarious. One thing would completely fall apart and something else would open up and be beautiful. Over and over. And then somebody else had the same thing going on and we were just laughing. So yesterday was weird and I didn't come on. So normally, Violet, back to the real topic, Mondays and Tuesdays, Thursdays and Fridays, I try to come on before noon or around noon Pacific time, except Friday. That's kind of a wild card. If I can get on in the morning, I come on in the morning. I just saw that Dana and Angie are going to be live. So I'm going to work around their schedule Friday and I don't know what time they're on. So it kind of depends on the time. But Violet, if you go on your text machine, if you go on and you text me at 33222, and it's all in the main comments of the videos. If you text me at 33222 as the number, put the word Lise Live, Liselive, one word, hit send. I will send you a notification 10 minutes prior to going live. So you'll have a notification. If you hit subscribe here, I think there's a way to get notifications through YouTube as well of when when I turn my live button on, it'll give you a 10-minute warning. So you can do it that way as well. Okay. All right. You're welcome, Robin. ISFJ. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm reading here. Okay. There's so much chat. I'm like, I can't read it all. What are we saying? Anything that needs, the sky was amazing like fire and had a huge rainbow. Did you get a picture? Hi, Jen. Okay. I need to go. It's past an hour here. And I totally need to go get a kid. All right. So anything you guys would like to talk about Thursday or Friday, put it in. Let's talk about tigers. Okay. Oh, I had a funny one and I thought of you guys where I was trying to type tiger and it said today. So the tiger thing is every time I type tiger in my text, that's hard to say, type tiger in my text to someone, it autocorrects to, every time I type the word today, it autocorrects to the word tiger. So I'll say, hey, how's it going, tiger? Oh, I mean today, and it's funny if you know the person, not so funny if it's a client or a business thing or someone that you really don't want to call tiger, right? And it can be anything. Anytime I say today, it wants me to say tiger really bad. And I don't know why, but it's hilarious. But so I typed tiger because I was talking about something up that was striped like a tiger and it said today. It's funny to me. Okay. Grace, let's see, Team Tiger. Anyway, anything, any topics, any thoughts, any problems, any questions, anything, hit me up in the main comments, not the chat at this point, of any video. I check them daily. I write down what people say, and if I can get to a topic, I will. And if you need help with something at any time during any of these, you can always ask a question in the live chat, and I will help you as best I can. And I guess that's it. If you would hit subscribe, that'd be great. There's a little button. Angie gave me a button, I think, somewhere. I don't know, down there, right? Can you see it? I can't see it from where I sit. And if you like this, hit thumbs up, please, so I know which topics are helping out the most. I can repeat or do more on the same thing if I know what's going on. All right. We do need Survivor Tiger shirts. And that's it. I think if anyone has need for coaching, you can find me at queenbeing.com. There's information again in the main description of every video for how to find me there, or any of the other coaches at Queen Being, of course. And also, if you need group coaching, or if you're interested in group coaching or you want to know anything about it, you can email me at coachlisec, COACHLISEC @gmail.com, or hit the button for the group coaching link in the main description. It's ongoing. It's a group that meets Wednesdays at 3:30 or 5:30 Pacific, or 11 a.m. on Fridays. So there's 3 meeting times, video coaching. We meet in a group. And then there's also a messenger chat where people chat. Some people like it. Some people don't use it. It's up to you. Where I come in and I try and be present and hang out and, as much as I can, give some help throughout the week to help string the thread of whatever it is you're working on to the next week. And that's it. And it's pretty much at this point, anything that's needed as it pertains to recovering from narcissistic abuse is all in one group right now, just because of the way it's been, the way it's working out. So, any level of anywhere you think you are in healing has a place in it. Okay. That's it. I think that's it. Okay. You guys take care. I will see you Thursday, and have a lovely middle of the week. Bye-bye.